Hey, good morning, Crosspoint. Really good to be with you today. It's hard to imagine, but today actually marks one full year since COVID-19 started wreaking havoc in the US, where we all went into quarantine and we shifted nearly all of our Crosspoint programming online. And when we let it soak in that it's been an entire year, we're confronted with a reality that is both somber and unexpected. There's just no way around it. This has been a very difficult and challenging season for a countless number of reasons. And there have been plenty of moments, and will continue to be plenty of moments, when we grieve and let ourselves feel all the feelings associated with that. However, what I want to make sure we do today is not simply skip over all the good that has happened as well. Because here's the thing, Crosspoint. I am so incredibly grateful for you and what we've been able to do together over this past year. I can't imagine going through this past year and all that it has held without you. I have so much gratefulness for our staff team, our board, our volunteers, and the entire Crosspoint community, all of you who completely pivoted how we did everything as a church within a matter of days and then embraced and committed to those changes. You didn't run, you didn't shrink, you didn't complain. You leaned in and demonstrated your commitment to both who we are and what we do together. We had staff who changed job descriptions overnight, who had to learn entire new sets of skills and technology, volunteers and musicians and artists who had to learn new ways of playing and recording music. We had to discover new ways to gather and stay connected. And frankly, we were really unsure of what would happen financially, not just as an organization, but the levels of financial crisis that would hit individuals and families in our church and the community, and how we could help. And for years, we've said that Crosspoint isn't about a building or merely gathering together for an hour on Sunday mornings, but it's a community of people committed to the ways of Christ, to one another, and to loving and serving others shockingly well. And Crosspoint, I am so incredibly proud to be a part of this community of people who did not let fear crush us, but instead determined that this is a season to lean in. And because of your trust and your generosity, we didn't miss a single payment on any bill this year. And we were able to meet all the financial obligations we had as an organization, when there are so many organizations and so many churches who weren't able to say that. You stepped up. But much more than that, because of your financial contributions, we were able to reallocate resources and show up for people in ways that I could not have ever imagined a year ago. Just in the past year, together we've provided and distributed nearly 10,000 grocery meals to local Triangle families in need. 10,000. We've been able to give away $50,000 toward initiatives to love and support frontline workers, teachers, the homeless, and students in our city and area. Just in the past year, we've been able to give another $100,000 away to pay people's rent, medical bills, insurance, car payments, and utilities. We've been able, as a community, to pay over 300 separate bills for individuals and families across the Triangle impacted by COVID that kept a roof over their head, their heat and power on, and food on their table. We've had volunteers consistently keep up with the garden that we built on campus, where as a result, we've been able to harvest and donate over 1,000 cucumbers, sweet peppers, eggplants, and squash from the garden, plus a ton of potatoes and garlic and herbs, and distribute fresh food through our local partners at the White Oak Food Pantry to families in need. We were able to take thousands of more dollars, and we bought essential supplies for students at NC Central who couldn't go home during the early days of the pandemic, and make sure that they had food and toiletries and cleaning supplies. We were able to do the same for men who had recently just been released from prison and had no other place to go through our partnership with Jubilee Home in Durham. We were able to underwrite days' worth of meals with a partner in downtown Raleigh, Place at the Table, that provided free, fresh, and healthy meals for those struggling with homelessness. And together, we were able to provide nearly 600 gifts for 55 local families in need at Christmas, so that every member of every household had at least 3 gifts that they had requested personally. They were able to open those on Christmas morning. Crosspoint. None of that was in the plans a year ago. None of it. And look at what we've done together. I mean, come on. That's amazing. And it is so good. So good. And that doesn't even get into all the racial equity training we leaned into together, the justice advocacy, the counseling, the mentoring, the challenging cultural conversations we held safe spaces for, the deep wrestlings with faith and the scriptures and what it looks like to follow Christ and reflect that kind of love in our culture today. Crosspoint, I could not be prouder to be associated with all of you. Yes, this year has had its challenges and gut-wrenching heartbreak. There's no doubt about that, but I am so incredibly grateful for how we've all responded and stepped into this moment together, stepped into loving and serving and believing that we could do more good together than we could simply do on our own as individuals. And I want you to know we're still committed to leaning in and showing up and loving shockingly well. Now, with the current mandates and restrictions here in North Carolina, wisdom still tells us it's not best yet to gather in large groups as a whole community right now. But we're still extremely committed to who we are, the voice we have, and what we can do together. So here's to keep leaning in and stepping into whatever this next year brings and doing it together and bringing more goodness and love into the world wherever we go, wherever we speak.